Yo, what's good, my people? Mastapeace Beats here, as you all know. Today, I'm going to be taking you through the breakdown of how I produce my song, Away, which I just dropped recently. And then, as you can see on the screen, I have everything. I'm on the timeline. So let's start by playing everything one by one. And then, so first one, I, the beat was actually an idea, my friend Princess sent me. So and then when she sent it, then I remade everything, almost everything. So let's start with the keys, which was from Analog Lab. So that was the first thing. Then the second one was this other one. So it's actually like a bellish part, bellish, I think ambient something from Analog Lab. Let me just see if I can put Analog Lab. It takes time to load. That's why I don't want to show you. But I will leave the name on the description for you to check it out. So that's it. And then after that, then I added these drum loops from Saba Sound. This drum loops here, I think Afro producer drum loop. I mean, this is this is it. Then the guitar. This was the guitar I first started with from beginning, but I had to remove it because I wanted to create more space on the song. So this is it. Then I have my synth here, which was playing. It was an ambient synth. So what I did was I kind of like routed it to a bus, and then I added a reverb, and then was kind of playing around with the automation before bouncing it. So this is the bounce file here. Yeah. So at this point, you notice that thing very obvious. So it's actually a synth from my. It's actually one of the synths I have. I use the synth a lot on Fender Studio actually. So yeah. Then I have these drums. So this drum loops was actually part of what the idea she sent, and then I kind of like re rearranged the drum loops. Then, so let me just play the instrument, only the instrument, only the instrument. There was actually not too much things here. So that was it. And then I have the guitar. This guitar I actually use Suno. I actually used Suno to create this guitar. So so the bass was from my this thing. It was actually from Expand. There's a scene bars I used a lot. So and then I kind of like tweaked it, and then that was what I used. So let me go to the scene bars and find it out for you. So you on that scene bars. So and then I added EQ to tweak it just because I don't want that. As usual, if you follow me a lot, you know what I do. So I kind of like cut out this the high, the low. I use low pass filter to kind of like cut the part. Listen to it. After bar. That was all. So, and then this is how the beat came about. So, also for those of you that are still saying AI is here to take over, the guitar you're hearing that you're enjoying, I know you're loving it. It's actually from Suno. So trust me, if you don't have time to be sending guitar to be waiting for somebody to play it, you can actually come up with that. But if you want to, if you have the time to wait for somebody to track and send back to you, then no problem. Some songs I get to use live guitars, but some songs I just decide to track use Suno. And yeah, that was how I came about the beat. And that's almost everything about the beat. And then the rest was just like the dynamic where I was playing around with the beat at some point. So let's listen to the vocal, which is one of the things I believe everybody want to pay attention to. So let me use my lead voice. This is my lead voice. I will take you through the chain. Now you be my hearty desire, desire. So on my lead vocal, first of all was compressor. I use this compressor, and then as usual, if people will know my chain, I keep my compressor always like this because I don't do a lot on this specific compressor. Then next thing the EQ, and this is where I do a lot, kind of like cut out the bad frequency. And one of the secrets to mixing is, for me, I feel like it's EQing. If you're able to understand, to identify the bad frequencies and all those things, yeah, it's good to actually use dynamic EQ so that you don't lose the originality. But in as much as you don't want to lose the originality, you have to tweak around, tweak around to make sure you are getting the right sound you want to hear. For me, when I'm recording song, I have a sound I'm paying attention to, or I have a sound I want to kind of like listen to. So yeah, that was how I came about this, you know. And then this is the EQ. Let me just play the vocal with just the EQ, and then you hear the difference. You discover that there's a lot that has gone through. So I call it surgical EQ because I use it to fix bad, fix issues. Now without the EQ. With the EQ. So it's more calm and bright at the same time, and then there's no too much bad frequency on it. Then the fat channel, those of you that follow me, you already know I use the fat channel for my gate, and then nothing else. There's the gate, and then this high pass filter as well. Keep it at 111 hertz here. Then next one is the ISA. My ISA is always around 38.7, the threshold, yeah. So, and then that's for my vocal though, but for other songs I get to like take it more than that. So then the Manny McQueen EQ, yeah. Then this is how with Manny McQueen without. Now you be my hearty desire, desire. So this place here, this one here, I was kind of like cutting the lows, this muddy frequency I was kind of hearing from my vocals. So I didn't want to do it on the Pro Q, that's the fab filter EQ. So I did that on my listen on my Mini mic. So yeah, then the parallel particles, I use that for my vocals to add thickness to the vocals. Let's listen to it. Now you be my hearty desire. Now without it. So it adds thickness to it, yeah. And then next one is the fresh air, as usual. This time around it was on 24. That's the high air. I love my vocal crisp and bright, and at the same time soft. So there's a lot of stuff there. Then the CLA2A, that's one of my best best compressors so far. I love using it recently. So I use that one to kind of like do peak reduction. So I don't get to have my vocals actually having like clipping. So after that one, then I use R compressor as well to do like reduce, to do like gain. That one I don't want to call it gain staging, but I control like the output, how the level of how my vocal gets to process. So yeah, that's for that one. And then S1 imager to just put my vocal seated on the mix. For those of you that have been following me, I use that a lot too. Then UAD X, that's 1176, right? Yeah, 1176. That one, there's this thing I love here, preset, which is called smooth vocal. And I use that smooth vocal actually to kind of like achieve very clean, like clean vocal. There's just a way it makes my vocals smooth. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Now you be my hearty. Without it, let's play. Sonda, sonda, sonda. So with it now. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Now with the NS1 noise suppressor. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Now you be my hearty desire, desire, desire. So yes, then the second to the last, which is suit. I use suit to control like suit is more like a dynamic this thing for me. So I kind of like use that one to control all those sibilants I don't want. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Yeah, then the Xvox actually I use the pitch widener just to have my vocal all round when you're listening to it on headphone. So this is how it sounds. Yeah. And that's all about this, the lead vocal. Then the BGV is now the BGV is what the same thing with the compressor and then the EQ. That was where I did a lot there. So kind of like trick around to make sure I get that BGV. So let's play the BGV right here. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Now you be my hearty desire, desire, desire. Even when the things of the. So I just wanted it to be calm. That was just what I have in my mind. Let the BGVs be calm as possible. So yeah, and then that was how I came about it. So let's play the main song, the full song, and then hear how it sounds. Sonda, sonda, sonda. Now you be my hearty desire, desire, desire. Even when the things of the world be trying harder. So yeah, that's it. And then I have my what I call Vox effects. A lot of people tend to hear this on my songs very well. This is what this is it. So I have a boss which I created. It's called the Vox effect. So I put the telephone effect on it. That's from the Pro Q3, yeah. And then I add CLA just to boost that vocal so that I don't get to like be wanting to add the like the gain a lot. Then I use this Brara motion, and then once you add it, there are a lot of this in there. So I just put the first one, the default one, and then I tweak around to make sure it sounds the way I want it to be. So what this does is it makes your vocal move around, and then while moving around, you get to like have the vocal, the lead vocal, have space there, and your ad libs are not overshadowing everything. So that's what I did, and then yeah. So now let's move to my mastering. My mastering was the multi-band EQ. This is it. And one thing with me, I kind of like, okay, so you hear my voice change because I kind of like on the multi-band. So let's play without the multi-band. This is it, without the multi-band. Let's play from this part. Now with the multi-band. Then I have EQ here, my EQ. So what I was doing with the EQ, I was kind of like controlling the highs. So it doesn't, you see, when you say tss, you see it's dropping, it's reducing this S sound on the mix, the full mix. So that's what I do. Then the Gauss particle, It's kind of like my go-to these days. I don't know. I love using it, even on my beats. So this is it with the Gauss particle. So the Gauss particle kind of like balance up everything for me. Then I control like the frequencies too as well. Listen. So it makes it louder somehow. Then I get to use my S1 imager again to kind of like spread everything. Then at the same time, you hear everything is already loud because my vocal is routed through that too as well. So then I use my WLM, this thing for the loudness, just to know what is processing, like keep it to the standard of Spotify and all those things. So yeah, so that's basically what I did on this mix. I don't know if you've learned something. If you learned something, just let me know in the comment section, and do well to follow me. So yeah, this is the song. Let's listen to it.
Not if it to put me asunder, asunder, asunder. Now you be my hearty desire, desire, desire. Even when the things of the world be trying harder, I'll keep on chasing, chasing after you.
So yeah, do well to go and check out the song. It's out on all streaming platform. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here. See you next time.